this song a little while ago and I haven't recorded it yet, so gotta remember the chords. And you laugh. You know, I took a little break a while back and it was cool. And it still is cool. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the rest of my life. Anybody know that feeling? And it was really strange to go from something that you'd done since you were a kid, and you had your identity in that, to go from that to not knowing your identity except getting the revelation that your identity is in Christ. And so for me, I began to feel this overwhelming love from God of just loving me for who I was, not any achievements or anything else beyond that. And so I was kind of drifting the planet. I didn't know what to do. I moved, my wife and I, summer, we moved down to a place called Panama City Beach, Florida, and I was just down there hanging out, and I wasn't sure what to do. I was thinking maybe I'd open one of them scooter shops or something like that. Someone make a rabbit ears behind me or something. I guess that is pretty funny, you know, me in a scooter shop. And, you know, a good buddy of mine, a friend named Steve Taylor, who many of you, if you don't know who he is, you should know who he is, and you've definitely heard a lot of his music, because he and I have written most of these songs together through the years, and written over 100 plus songs, and he's kind of been like a brother to me, and someone who's really had a great influence on my life, and in lots of different ways. And he came over to my house and he's like, "Man, what are you doing with the rest of your life?" I'm like, "What, are you my mother?" You know, he's like, and you know, he began to kind of challenge me, because through the years, as a songwriter, you have all these ideas, you document them down. At least I do. I always, today flying on the plane, I'm singing, you know, there's a dude sitting next to me and he just thinks I'm just some shaved head, eyeliner wearing psychopath, you know, because I'm singing into my iPhone a riff that I had in my head, and so you document all these things and these ideas, and you go back later, they're kind of like a storehouse, and you go back to them. Well, once I've finished up with the Newsboys, I still had all these songs, and you know, you wonder what are you going to do with the rest of your life, but God does give us gifts, and He's not sorry about that. He wants us to stir them up, and that began to be a revelation to me, because songs kept coming. It was like, what do I do with these now? But anyway, we had just gigabytes full of just ideas, and you know, lots of little digital files of just these 30-second snippets. And so Steve said, and I'd been kind of harassing Steve for a long time, that it was time for him to do a solo record, and he just wouldn't have any of it. And so finally I said, well, we'll finish these songs if we go in the studio and you know, you sing. I want to hear you sing again, and I hadn't heard him sing in a long time. And so we went to the studio and just, you know, had no record deal, had no management, no agenda really, except kind of four guys, a guy named Jimmy Abeg and John Payne, just brilliant musicians and guys that I looked up to, and just the four of us just got in there and making music just for the joy of creating something out of nothing. And I felt like I was in high school again, you know, you're not sure what's going to happen with these songs, and you don't know, but you just kind of, the four of you just are jazz, you know, you kind of, you stagger into the room, but you float out, you know, and so I just got on the drums. I just began to play drums, and that drums was my first instrument until I lost a bet and had to become the singer. Anyway, well, this is a brand new song, and I'd love to play it for you now if you don't mind.